Are you ready, Andrea?
Yeah. Yes, I'm ready. I hope that you are not tired of me yet. But okay, so thank you very much, everyone. So I believe that this is the last activity for the Latin America blog. And so this is a celebration of how we have engaged, how we have created community, how we have met, new people from all over the world, and we are talking and having fun with each other and listening about how the theory is being enacted in all over the globe and in Latin America. And so because this is the bonding activity, this is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be relaxing. And so you are free to join me with a glass of wine or your favorite beverage of choice, tea, tequila, beer, water, whatever you want. Because this is the Latin America vlog, I am having wine from Chile. Hello to my friend from Chile. Your wine is delicious. Let's just relax. We are going to debate about certain concept from LCT, and it doesn't matter if you just started with your theory today, or maybe you are Carl Mayton and you want to still have debate about this theory. Everyone can join in. And so first, I need all of you to get your cell phones right now and follow the instructions right here on the screen. You can either use the QR code or go to menti.com and enter the code. I'm going to give you just a few minutes and let me know if any of you have a problem with this, with joining to Menti. Thank you, Chile. Okay, think we're all set. Even if you cannot join right now, or maybe you are jumping it later, it doesn't matter. The instructions are at the top of the slide all the time. Just go to menti.com on your cell phone and enter the code and you'll jump right back into this. Okay, so let me see if any of you can check if it's working. Just click on the reactions. You can either put a heart, thumbs up, thumbs down, question mark, a cat, or there's also a button for the chat. If you don't feel very confident with your English, you can just type your question in Spanish and I'll do my best to translate on the fly. We have a very good interpretation team today. I'm going to say this again very quickly in Spanish so everyone can understand me. A ver, si no tienes mucha confianza, cualquier persona de la audiencia no quiere hablar hoy en inglés, no hay problema. Mande su pregunta ahí por menti.com en español y yo voy a traducir así rapidísimo. No hay problema. Okay, thank you very much to everyone who is joining right now. You're amazing with technology. Okay, so I think we're all set. And just so you know how Mentimeter works, we are going to start with our first question. How are you feeling today? Just go to your cell phone and put your answer. You don't know. Okay, there's someone who doesn't know. With feeling, someone is feeling excellent. Thank you. Okay, yes. You're feeling good. Okay, someone's feeling tired. That's okay. We've been doing this for 65 hours today. And if you were in Carl Mayton presentation last night, you probably went to bed after midnight. So it's okay if you're tired. Okay, so most people are feeling good. Many people are feeling excellent. Okay, I'm very happy to hear that. Good. So let's go with our first statement to debate. Now, what do you think about this? You need to understand all the concepts to engage with LCT. Who agrees and who disagrees? You can vote with your phone and say that, I'm against this, I am for this. Okay, most people disagree, but there are some who agree. Anyone who agrees with this statement, you want to raise your hand and say why you need to understand all the concepts to engage with LCT? Or maybe some people who want to challenge this statement, maybe you want to say, I disagree. Okay. Okay. Okay, Vicky, go ahead.
Well, LCT, it's fascinating, but sometimes it's hard to get started with, especially when the first times you approach a reading, no? But little by little, when you start reading the theory, it becomes like kind of easier, no? Try to understand. And well, from the talks and that I've attended to, and I have listened to also Carl saying, you don't need to know all the theory to be able to apply some concepts. Actually, you can, because this is a practical theory, you can select only the tools that are useful for your interest of research. No? So in my case, I like academic writing and I research about it. And even though I would like to get deeper into specialization and autonomy, I think the most useful dimension for the things that I'm doing right now is semantics. So I'm focusing on that. And in that sense, I don't have to engage in other dimensions for the moment. So I'm just focusing on semantics.
Okay, thank you, Vicky. Anyone who wants to agree with Vicky or challenge Vicky?
In my case, is similar to Vicky's case. So I started exploring semantics. So I don't need necessarily to understand all the concepts in the other dimensions. So this is a benefit, I think. So that's why I disagree with the statement.
Okay, thank you. So in my particular case, I asked this very same question this morning, and I was very happy with the answer that I received. It was Javier who said that, imagine you are a carpenter and you have this table with all the tools at your disposal. Maybe for certain jobs that you need to select all the tools, but maybe you just want to hammer and nail. And sometimes it's like that with research. Maybe sometimes I just need a hammer or a screwdriver and nothing else. I mean, it's very easy to get lost in the theory. So just in my case, I just use as much theory as I need. But I really want to hear the opinion of the people who agree with this notion. Okay. It depends on the question you pose. You are right, Professor Patricia, but I think we've exhausted this, so let's move on and put a pin on it. Okay. Just give me 1 second. There we go. Go ahead, place your opinions, maybe. What do you think? LCT is a beginner-friendly framework for analysis. Do you agree with this statement or do you disagree? Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this, but all of your votes are anonymous. I cannot see your names on the screen or who is agreeing or who is disagreeing. So this is a safe space to say what you're thinking. And then, well, so far we have a very even opinion. In my mind, I disagree. I mean, maybe it was me who was lost in all the readings, in all the books, and I tried to understand everything at the beginning, but it took me months and the LCT group from Latin America to begin understanding the theory. And so far, our opinions are still pretty even. So anyone who wants to say anything, maybe in English or Spanish. I mean, I cannot do other language. So if you speak Polish, Russian, or Chinese, you're on your own. Just a Spanish translation, please. Or maybe anyone can say it. I mean, as a beginner for LCT, did you feel that it was easy for you or it was difficult? For me, it was very difficult. I have zero shame in admitting this live in front of the world.
Sí,
Can I tell you about?
Okay.
desde mi perspectiva, Andrea, no, who's speaking? Andrea?
Yes, that's me.
Ya. Desde mi perspectiva considero que hay que conocer las bases, la epistemología de esta teoría para poder aplicarla bien. No es fácil llegar y vamos implementando, porque primero que todo hay que, depende también de nuestra investigación, cuáles son los lineamientos que vamos a tener, cuáles van a ser aquellos indicadores que vamos a utilizar, y a partir de ahí vamos acomodando esta teoría de acuerdo a ello. Y hay que entender bien esta teoría para poder implementarla, de lo contrario lo veo complejo. Por eso yo de mi perspectiva puse que no era tan fácil.
Okay. But it seems that most of us think that, well, it's a very slight margin, but it seems that most people think that this is a beginner-friendly framework, at least 60% of us. Okay, anyone?
I think Ale also wanted to say something.
Thank you.
Well, yes, I would agree with Sylvia. The theory is very dense. We are being mentored by Dr. Ariza. We have been doing some research. And when it comes to theory, it's very dense, no? But when we apply that theory and we do analysis, we kind of understand, but very little, no? But I guess that the theory is so complete that you have to go little by little understanding it, no? It would be impossible to understand everything as a whole.
Okay, Vicky,
Thank you.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Yes, and I'm reading the comments here on the chat. Jody says it. I think the basic concepts can be understand theory, but applying them to data can take a lot of work. And then Sarah says some of the LCT communities have helped to make LCT accessible for beginners. For example, Daniel O'Sullivan, Lee, and her team in South Africa. And I really agree in that the groups are really helpful, especially for beginners. So I remember some years ago, and back in 2015, when we started reading the first article from scratch, and we didn't have no one to talk except our PhD classmates and supervisor. So we started reading the theory and we started commenting on the theory ourselves, but at points it was really difficult to understand. But when we get to know Carl and Jody, at that time working in the Center of Knowledge Building, that was a huge difference because we became in touch and sharing material, and just looking at how others apply the theory made that much easier. And I have also to say that we had the fortune to be in or to meet in several conferences and with Carl, and I really miss those times because whenever there was a conference, Carl and Jegan always made a space for discussion and for helping beginners. No? And well, I can see, or I can say LCT is not time sometimes it's not friendly, but the community is friendly. And that is what makes it easier and lovely to continue learning about it.
Okay. We have another message in the chat that says, I think it is always difficult to enter a new field, even with the many very helpful supports to make LCT accessible. I mean, yes, Wendy, you are right. And Sarah DP says, Vicky, I agree with you. It helps to be apprentice in the theory. Thank you, Jody. Absolutely correct. I mean, I also think that LCT is a very dense and a very hard starting point, but it was all thanks to the community that I am here today. And so Professor Patricia Preciado Lloyd says, I found a research in progress conducted by students working on their master and doctoral degree made it very rewarding. So a shout out to everyone who has tried to make this theory more visible, more helpful, more easy for people who, like me and Vicky, to say, I cannot understand, earn anything. Thank you. So let's move on to the next question, unless anyone wants to add anything else. Okay, let's move on.
It's so funny.
Next question. You need to be a linguist to use LCT in your research. What do you think? Do you agree or do you disagree? Okay, many people are disagreeing and disappearing into the void. But there is one person who agrees that you need to be a linguist to use LCT in your research. Another person supports that statement, but most people are in the disagreeing side, disappearing into the void. All right. So anyone who wants to challenge or comment on this statement? I mean, I want to start this saying because this is a hot topic debate that I've had with my friends in my PhD program, because even though we are in a language sciences doctorate, not all of us are linguists. And one of our colleagues from Colombia, he's actually a doctor, and he's using LCT for his own research. And it's really interesting to us how someone from such a different field is using LCT, and he engaged with the community, and he says, I am not a linguist. I think I should be one. I mean, I should know more, but even so, he's keeping up with the conversation all the time. So it's all in his head. But maybe you don't need to be a linguist, or what does anyone else think? Maybe you are from communication, maybe you are from psychology, maybe you are from a legal field. Okay, checking the comments on the chat, nothing yet. Angelica, I'm going to put you in the spot right now. I am so sorry. You know I care for you, but I also really love your opinions. Do you think you need to be a linguist to use LCT in your research?
No, I don't think you need to be a linguist, but certainly you have to have one linguist at least on your research, because it's language, the motion of building knowledge and the perpetuation of knowledge. That's my belief. Maybe I'm just defending my field, but I don't know.
You don't need to be a linguist, but you need to have a linguist in your research. Interesting. Okay, let's see. Okay, we have a couple of comments in the chat that says, Professor Patricia, that is very true. And Jody Martin is saying goodbye, but she's happy to hear people in the America and near to my time zone. hopefully we'll see each other again in the LCT North America session. Thank you, Jody. Okay, so let's move on to the next question if this one is not making you want to fight with each other. Okay, only those who specialize in the humanities can use LCT. What do you think? Do you need to be in the humanities to use LCT? And Sarah from the chat is saying, Carl and Lee always gave out their work as non-linguistic. Okay, so the Mentimeter has this really useful tool in which you can see the results from a previous answer and see with the correct answer, and then we can compare results. From what I see, that well, I tried to link it with the previous question, and so it seems that we have finally reached a consensus. Most everyone here so far thinks that it's not necessary to be in the humanities to use LCT. I mean, I think, yes. I mean, we've seen a wide array of investigations during these hours. I mean, in which hour are we in LCT so far? Hour 15, 20, or 16?
Yeah, about
Well,
16, 17.
Right. We are maybe on hour 16 or 17 of continuous, eternal, never stopping LCT. And I haven't followed all of their presentations, but from what I've seen is that people from many fields of knowledge have tried to use LCT in their own research in many successful ways. I mean, I am from the humanities, but I've seen how LCT is being used for medicine, for psychology, for law, for studying. I mean, Sylvia, what are you doing? I'm sorry, physics. Can I hear you, Sylvia?
Chemistry.
Chemistry. Thank you. Chemistry. Thank you very much. So how fun. Okay, anyone wants to add anything before I jump to the next slide?
Me.
Yes, go ahead.
I think you don't have a specialization on humanities, but you need to be human or humanized. This means that you have to have a certain social perception of injustice. And LCT, it's a background of critic disposition to see injustice about the knowledge distribution. And that's a first start. No matter the discipline you are representing or making visible on your own fields, but you have to stay being human. Instead of prioritizing another kind of values or fields, you have to stay being human, and you have to want to share knowledge for everyone.
Marvelous, Angelica. Maybe you don't have to be in the humanities, but you need to have a human approach to research, first and foremost. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Are you having fun so far? I really hope that you appreciate my very strong mimi game. I hope that you really appreciate the gifts that I used during this presentation. I worked really hard in that, so just so you know. Because I mean, even though we are not all from the same country, but thankfully, thanks to social media, I don't know how you say it in English, memes are universal. So most people are having fun so far. Someone needs to have what I am drinking. I told you is wine from Chile. best wine in South America, and someone is absolutely having fun. So thank you. Let's go to the next one. Okay, what do you think about this one? Specialization is the easiest dimension to understand. Someone disagrees very strongly and quickly. I mean, you just jump into the bottom very quickly. I mean, I don't need to think about it. I say that specialization is not the easiest dimension to understand. I mean, that was a very fast answer. And it's also kind of a consensus. I'm the only one who agrees with this statement is me, the host. How weird is that? Well, thank you. I have someone in my team right now. But most people say that no, specialization is not the easiest dimension to understand. I mean, and why do you think that? For me, I think it's the easiest one. I'm sorry, Carl, if you are listening. Okay. Well, I'm going to start with my own considerations. Maybe because it was the way that I learned LCT that specialization, I mean, is the first dimension that is explained throughout the book. And it was the one that is the oldest child of LCT. So it's the one with the most theory, with the most research, that has been widely, I mean, in my case, I've seen it more published articles in pedagogy with the specialization. So that's why I mean, when it comes to LCT, specialization was the first dimension in which I said, aha, I understand. And so Sandra Juarez says, I think that all dimensions have their own challenge. What is easy for some people might not be easy for the others. And she's absolutely correct. So, I mean, I want to know why you think that the specialization might not be the easiest dimension to understand.
Hi, everyone. Well, I said because hi. So I was saying that because I've been working with the specialization. I've been working on it, and I think it's easy for me, but I don't want to give for granted that it would be easy for everyone. So I definitely think that it depends on everyone's beliefs and ways of learning.
And it could also be because, I mean, every social actor has their own dispositions. I mean, and if you're a teacher, maybe specialization or semantics is the first theory that jumps at you. So, of course. So every researcher approaches LCT with their own disposition. Okay, thank you, Sandra. Anyone wants to challenge the notion? I see that only one people in the audience here agrees with me. I wish I could know who it is. But seems okay. Ruben is leaving. Hello to Argentina. Hello all the way to Argentina, Ruben. Your talk was very, very interesting. Thank you for joining us. I hope we'll see each other more in LCT Latin America. And so, Helen, gracias. And so Helen says, I think specialization needs more understanding of sociology. Semantics is a bit more detached and can be considered on its own. I didn't know any sociology theory before LCT, so it was really hard for me to understand. I am on the same team. I didn't know any sociology theory before LCT, so I was also lost for a long time. Okay, so thank you, Helen, and let's move on to the next statement. We tend to make visible the result of our analysis and not the methodology. Often, no one understands how we reach a conclusion. I mean, this is also something that we've strongly debated with my group, that we say, how do we make our results of our analysis visible? I mean, I have this wonderful theory. I have these insights. Where how do we make this more reachable for the audience? I mean, so many people are disagreeing with this. Someone agrees. I am somewhere in the middle. I don't have a. I am very sorry if you are also in the middle because I didn't add. I don't know, or I am in the middle option. I mean, I just thought I agree or I disagree. So I am sorry to people who are ambivalent.
I guess I'm I guess I'm also in the middle, you know, because, and I think that depends on the experience that we have doing research. So I remember some years ago when I started presenting, I used to speak fast and jump to the results, and sometimes I still do, but I think that that's a matter of not allowing yourself the time to explain, no, the whole process of research. But as you get a little bit more of experience and then you understand the theory and the tools that you are using, you understand that the results, when it comes to doing research, the result is as important as making the process transparent so that your results make sense. So I think that really, so that's why I'm in the middle, and I will say that has to do with the stage of development in which we are as researchers.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Okay. So Silvia Moraga Toledo is leaving. I'm sorry I have to leave. Good afternoon. Thank you, Silvia, and thank you to the people of Chile for their wonderful wine. Bye, Silvia. See you soon in LCT Latin America. And some, well, most people disagree with this notion. There are a few people who agree. Me and Vicky are somewhere in the middle. Sorry for not adding that option. Next time I'll take it into account. But it could also be that, right? It depends on the stage of the research or where we are as researchers. And maybe it takes a little bit more practice. But in my case, I think that with LCT, one thing that we really have to take into account is really thinking about the translation device. Because one of my favorite things, if I can have favorite things about LCT, is the translation device. I like how you can appropriate it for your research. I believe it's really helpful and useful to really take a long time to reflect what we are doing and see how the data is speaking to us. And I think that's one way to show, hey, this is how we reach a conclusion. This is not just my mumbo jumbo in my mind. So anyone else wants to add something? Before we go to the next one. Okay, no hands, and let's go. Okay, when we try to explain how knowledge is built, we often end up in an exhaustive goal. I mean, this question is related strongly to the last one, but I mean, does it happen to you that when you are talking about knowledge itself, you end up I'm going to talk about cows and fences. True story. Sorry, Vicky.
Right.
love you, but sometimes we make our own autonomy tours when talking about knowledge, and we end up. I'm going to talk about cows because I love cows. Love you, Vicky. Sorry for the word. I agree. Many more people agree. And actually, this question was proposed by Angelica, and she says, Yes, because an analogy leads us to another, and then to a joke, and so on. And you want to elaborate on that, Angelica?
Yeah, I think as humans, we tend to make metaphors and analogies to exchange knowledge and to get knowledge more accessible to another people. And sometimes we have some struggles in doing that, and we use humor to stay in the main channel. But another times we forget that channel and we change that. And we go to an exotic code and it's hard to go back.
But the thing is that you need to go to the exotic code and you need to go back to the sovereign code.
That's the ideal.
That's the idea.
But it's not the reality. Some of the most of the time, it's not the reality.
No, it's not. Okay. So, well, it's an up and down, but it's always useful. I mean, and we cannot stay just in the realm of the abstract talking like I don't know, like really smart people and say, I hope all of you can understand me. No, sometimes yes, analogy, metaphors, they are fun, they are engaging, and if we are working in the same culture, they can be very illuminating. And so let's jump to the next one. LCT is a global community. Who agrees and who disagrees? Okay, also very fast answers. I mean, zero time for consideration. I strongly agree with this statement. And most people are agreeing. In my case, I also agree. I mean, also, this is my very fast answer. I agree. LCT is truly a global community. I mean, we are researchers from all over the world talking about that common theory. And thanks to the LCT Center that made this opportunity free, there was no registration fee. So there were many students who were able to attend the local events for Latin America during the morning. I think many were beginners to the theory, there were newcomers. And well, it was thanks to that this conference is free that they were able to come and jump in very quickly. So anyone who wants to say, why is LCT a global community?
Yeah, I also have to say that, this conference particularly made it easier to connect. I love the idea of global and local because this morning, for the ones who don't know, we had like a set of activities for our group only. And that was interesting because what the LCT conference, what the global conference created was, activating the groups and the theory. No? And we had newcomers joining this morning. And also we had the opportunity to connect with people that we hadn't been in touch before, even though we are in the same region. So now, for example, I got to know Ruben from Argentina and someone from Brazil. So I think that this type of events strengthens the LCT community. And that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Vicky. That's really beautiful. So we have a comment from Carl Mayton who says, going back a few questions, LCT is definitely not linguistics. It is not a model of anything. Back to you two for me. Shout out. Hello, Carl. And so Professor Patricia Preciado says that the problems that LCT address are global, which I agree. Carl Mayton also agrees. And Patricia Preciado says, thank you, Carl. And so even though, well, the most difficult thing about LCT is, I mean, for me, is the time zone. because most of the research takes place in Australia. Sometimes we have to connect at 11 p.m., sometimes with the change of schedule at 1 a.m. But there was one session held for LCT Mexico in which it was midnight for the people in Australia. We, the people from Mexico, we are really thankful to the University of Sydney that they made that effort for us. I mean, they decided to, this time we are going to stay up until late to hear you guys. And that was a really beautiful thing. Anyone wants to add something about why LCT is a global community? I'm very happy to see that no one disagrees. I mean, all the bots are saying that, yes, I agree. I mean, we are global. We speak different languages. I mean, we are working in different fields. We come from different formations, but all of us think that LCT is truly a connecting community. And so Carmaton says that it is very big in the global south, bigger than in the north. I don't have the data of that, but I choose to believe. But it is invading the north. Good. So we are coming for you, the north. And we are making progress. Exactly. I mean, during these last weeks, Vicky and I, we made the work of trying to bring so many people to these events. And we are very happy that during the morning for the local group in Latin America, we had many newcomers to the theory. I hope that they took something from that and they will stay. And so let's go to the last one. Okay, so we are going to make a word cloud, una nube de palabras. So all of you grab your cell phones and describe LCT and its community in your own words. Sorry. I am very sorry about that. You know, it's the beautiful thing about working from home and from this is part of teleworking, right? Just these little interruptions to everyday life. So, you know, that's so I'm going to do my very best. Vicky, if you can take over for a while I try to resolve this chaos.
It's okay.
Thank you, Vicky. So everyone heard my dog, right?
It's fine. That's part of our new modality, no? So we are used to background noises now. Okay, some words are coming in the cloud. I'm going to start reading some of them. So it says, describe LCT and its community in your own words. And we have friendly, welcoming, supportive, generous, useful, helpful, intellectually challenging, brave, patient, fun, sometimes weird. But I think we all have a little bit of weird. There is something that I don't see in yellow, but great, multilingual, supportive, knowers, friendly, altruistic, and open-minded. I think that's all the words that have come through. And well, yeah, that's what we have. That's why we are so engaged. No? And as I said at the beginning, when we were discussing how difficult LCT can be, sometimes it's challenging, but the community is really helpful. Okay, Carl says, I wasn't able to join Menti while I walk my dogs, but those words are great. Well, yeah, let me see if there is a new one. International, creative, intellectual, fun, knowers. Okay, great, thank you. So let's wait a little bit for Andrea because she's handling the presentation.
Oh, no, that's okay, Vicky. That's the last slide, but I want to hear from the community. Why do you think that the community is sometimes weird? I mean, I am really interested in that answer.
Which one?
I agree. Sometimes weird.
First of all, we are against capitalism because we work hours and hours and hours in an altruistic way, very altruistic way. In Mexican, we say por amor al arte, for love to the technique, for love to the art. And that's absolutely weird in these times.
That's a very beautiful way to describe the community for amor al arte. Who thinks that this community is, let's see, patient? Okay, you don't want to say, but Vicky, can you check the message in the chat?
Sure. Okay, Carl, we're talking about the community and the, you know, Carl loves these words. And also he says the community I used to be in was vicious and nasty. Scholars will tear younger students apart and say it was good for them. When I broke with that group, I wanted a community that had high quality, but was humane and decent. And you make LCT what it is. And we thank you for that, Carl, because, you know, that's also you who motivates, you know, the moving and the dynamics of the community and on the groups. And Patty says, we are weird because we believe that change is possible. And I agree with that. So, and I will say instead of weird, it's also, you know, just having a different mindset. We were listening to Carl yesterday, and it's just thinking out of the box, thinking differently. And sometimes that looks weird for people who are used to see things in the same way.
Okay, I really like the person who put it. So if you are up to talking, whoever who say diverse, I would like to hear what you are thinking.
Diverse because we have struggles in our own latitudes and in our personalities and fields, but we are just like one of you say, open-minded and patient, and we are very different each other. And instead of make an island of everyone here, we try to make a continent. We are rebuilding the world. We are making continents make one.
If I had to add my own words, I would say that I agree that we are helpful and that we are altruistic. Whoever who put brave, I would like to hear, if you are up to it, why do you think that this is a brave community?
I think because we are looking for the impossibilities in our fields or in our communities, and almost impossibilities, but because our work is making it possible, or possibilities, or another ways to look for some world better, or better world.
And so to that, says Carl from the chat, I will say we are weird because we demand the impossible. And in addition, Vicky, can you read that one, please?
Yes. So that's Carl's post to Angelica. It says, Angelica's point about being about anti-capitalist. The website is free. All those free papers for download. And the conferences are free and they are very expensive to set up. I also had my funding for the center taken away by my university because I refused to charge LCT people for membership and refused to charge fees for conferences. That's, also nice to know that we are here still doing it, no? And thank you for your support also and your work on putting this conference together. Thank you.
And that was the whole portrait of pro bono work, or in Mexican, I will say it again, por amor al arte.
I didn't know about this effort, Carl. Thank you very much. And it's great that we can acknowledge that we know that.
Yeah, and I think there is one other comment. Here, Patricia, it is a brave community because we speak when most forces are trying to shut us out. Okay. Okay, so we're about to finish. Andrea, would you like to wrap up?
No, just thank you to everyone who joined us here today. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Yeah, I also want to thank, first of all, the organizing committee, Carl and Lee, for making this possible, and also for having a space for our group. No? So we are really happy, our presenters were really happy, engaged, sometimes some of them nervous, but also thrilled. And thank you for all of that. And for during our presentation, it was some hours of listening to our group, and we thank you for that. So we would like to close this session with a big thanks. And also I would like to give an announcement. I know there's going to be a stop of the, the streaming. So for people who are here, know that we're going to close the session, but you have to reconnect, I guess, to the same link, right? So there is a note in the chat, conference alert. Please note this Zoom meeting will close and be restarted at the end of this session. This is to allow our technical team to download previous sessions to restream later in the program. Please rejoin this room once the meeting has ended to continue the LCT 3.5 experience. Okay. So, well, that'll be all for us. So we are, I guess, on time to close, and I encourage you to go back to the same link.
Gracias, Vicky.
Thank you.